after the data stuff, I'll give some announcements, and then we'll just have an open discussion for any questions, thoughts you may have. But also feel free to unmute or put things in the chat throughout the call if questions or thoughts come to mind. All right. So just wanted to just remind everybody that the VASOS manual, monitor manual exists. It's on the VASOS website and has lots of helpful things in it. So if you ever have questions or want to check on something protocol related or kind of related to any of the other procedures related to VASOS, don't forget that this is out there. I know you can't click the links right now, but I will share these slides afterwards as well as the recording so that you can go through and click on those links and access those. All right, so going to kick things off with a little interactive protocol review. So feel free to either comment or unmute yourself to share the fill in the blank parts. All right, so for our Rocky Bottom protocol, you start blank stream and work blank stream. Nice. Great. Thank you. Yes. Start downstream and work upstream. Very good. All righty. And with our anchor rocks, are you grabbing those from blank the sample area? Outside. Very good. Okay. And how many nets can you take? What's the maximum number of nets? And then what's the minimum and maximum net times? Perfect. Yep. 4 nets, and they can be between 20 and 90 seconds. Okay. And then one other thing I just wanted to note, after you do the rubbing the rocks part, then that last quarter of the time is disturbing the sediment. And for that, you're going to want to use either your hands or a trowel. You can wear gloves if you're in like an urban stream that might have glass or dangerous things like that in it. But the what's called boot scoot method, or using your feet to disturb the sediment, used to be something that was allowed in the protocol, but we found that it was too destructive. So we have since switched to only using your hands. So just wanted to note that. And that you must pick every bug off the net. So even if you surpass 200, however many nets you take, got to pick all those bugs. All right. Time for a quiz. That was sort of a quiz, but continuing the quiz. Related to data approval, how many bugs do you need to collect for the Rocky Bottom protocol for your data to be approved? Amazing. Thank you. 200. All right. And if you don't have 200 bugs, you must have how many nets for your data to still be approved? 4. Yep. And at least how many of the nets need to be how many seconds? I know it's a little confusing. Yeah. So yes, you need to have I'll put up the answer. You need to have taken 4 nets for your data to be approved if you don't get to 200 bugs. At least 3 of them need to be the full 90 seconds. But like it was said in the chat, the reason for that is that if that first net you do is a shorter amount of time, maybe it's the first time you're at the stream, which we recommend 20 seconds for a brand new stream, or maybe the stream suddenly has declined in health. And so you used to be able to do 60 or 40 seconds, and that would be fine. But all of a sudden now you're only getting a few bugs. That allows for you to have that first net be kind of a trial and then showing that maximum sample effort with the remaining 3. All right, awesome. And I know not everybody does the Muddy Bottom protocol. That's mainly going to be streams east of I-95. We have some people in Richmond and Fairfax that do that. But I know we have at least one Muddy Bottom person on this call. So for the Muddy Bottom protocol, you use a DNet, which is what I'm holding in this little screenshot from the video. How many jabs do you take from your available habitat types? All right, awesome. Thank you, our Muddy Bottom volunteer. Don't mean to put you on the spot. So if you don't know any of the answers, I can fill them in. But yes, 20 jabs, and then you're going to spread your sample on the table and divide it into how many sections? 4. Great. Yep. And as I'm sure you know, pick one random section to pick entirely and see if you get up to your 100 bugs. And then if you haven't hit that 100 bugs, you're going to go to another section and pick that one entirely. All right. Almost done with the quizzes. The last couple questions here. So for our Muddy Bottom protocol, how many bugs do you need to collect for it to be approved, not including which bug? Amazing. Yes, 100 bugs, not including scuds. All right. If you don't get to 100 bugs, how many quadrants do you need to have picked for your data to be approved? Yep, 4. Perfect. All right. Thanks, everybody, for your participation. All right. So one thing I wanted to note, just that we have made a little change to the Muddy Bottom data sheet. It previously didn't have a field to indicate the number of quadrants that you've picked, but now it does. So just make sure to download the new one, vasos.org/datasheets. And again, I'll share these slides afterwards so you can access the links. And then when you're entering the data in the Clean Water Hub, you'll also see that field is there now to indicate how many you picked. All right. And just wanted to throw a reminder out there that we do have equipment reimbursement funds available. So if you need any monitoring equipment or know somebody who does, you can find all the details of what equipment we reimburse and the form to request that at vasos.org/equipment. I also just wanted to note, because I've gotten a lot of questions about this. So we, as in VASOS, through the Clean Water Hub, will accept your data anytime, all year round. You can sample and enter whenever. But we can only send the data off to DEQ if it's collected between March 1st and May 31st, or between September 1st and November 30th. So those are their 2 official windows where we can send them data. And on that note, we just completed our spring monitoring season and just wanted to say great work to everyone. You all reported 93 data points this spring between that March 1st and May 31st date range on the Clean Water Hub. So thanks everybody for getting out there and monitoring and for bearing with us through the transition to the Clean Water Hub and getting your data in there. So just did a little bit of data analysis for what we got this spring. We had 91 different sites sampled, and 9 of them were brand new sites for this season. Most of them were rocky bottom, so 84 rocky bottom surveys conducted and 9 muddy bottom. Um, and you can see up in the top left here, that's just the distribution of the stream health scores that they got. And this is pretty typical what we see, like somewhere around 50% of sites being acceptable. And then you can see I just did it for rocky bottom because we only had a few muddy bottom. But you can see kind of the distribution of the scores. 9 was the most popular score this season. One other thing I took a look at was sites that had been monitored both in spring 2024 and spring 2025 to compare the difference in scores from last year to this year. So it was interesting. Around a third of the sites improved from last year, around a third stayed the same, and around a third declined. It's kind of interesting that it was that even split. And then I just zeroed in on a couple areas that had either a lot of decline or a lot of improvement just to kind of take a look. So that was kind of interesting. So an area that stood out with lots of red and orange dots was the Lynchburg area. And interestingly, once I was zoomed in, I was like, oh, I know exactly what's going on here. So there was a huge dam right here where this arrow is that was removed last year after being there for about 100 years. So in this picture, the water would be flowing from the bottom left to the top right of the map. So you can see the dam removals upstream of most of the sites. So we actually wrote a blog about this a couple months ago. A couple of monitors from Randolph College Environmental Studies professors there have been monitoring this site with their students. So definitely check out iwla.org/blog if you want to look more into that. So the stream's just still adjusting to being, much larger flow, being reconnected to the other part of the stream after almost 100 years. And then an area that really jumped out with lots of improvement was kind of surprisingly in Reston, Virginia, up in Fairfax County, which is a very urban area. So I'm not sure what the folks in Reston are doing, but great job to them. And I don't think we have any Reston folks on the call, but would love to hear if they have any ideas about what might be going on, what might be bringing about the improvement in score. And then one stream really stood out because it improved so much from just last year to this year, which of course, just looking at one data point, we probably need to follow the stream a little longer just to see how things level out. But it was an unnamed tributary of Craddock Creek near Smith Mountain Lake that's monitored by the Blue Ridge Foothills and Lakes Master Naturalists, as well as the Smith Mountain Lake Association. And actually, someone from those groups was on the call yesterday and let me know that they've actually been working with a golf course that is borders this site to reduce the golf course's chemical fertilizer usage. And I guess they've been responsive to that. So that's awesome. Love to see that they're doing that advocacy work and we're starting to actually see results in the stream health score. So you can see it went from a 6, which is in the unacceptable range last year, to a 12. Which is, of course, acceptable this year. All right. And all this data was, of course, reported to the Clean Water Hub. So just wanted to throw in a few notes. Thanks again, everybody, for bearing with us this season and helping troubleshoot and point out things that weren't working correctly so that we could get them fixed. Really appreciate that. That will help things go much smoother, hopefully, in the fall. So just a few notes. All VASOS sites that were existing in the old database have been created in the Clean Water Hub, so you don't need to create any sites. If you have a brand new site that you've never monitored before, you'll report it to me on our website, vasos.org/new site, and then I'll get it set up on the hub for you. So there actually really isn't any point where you'll need to create a site on the hub unless you're doing only salt watch or nitrate watch at a site and not VASOS. If you if it's a site you've monitored before, but you are having trouble finding it on the hub, you're going to want to make sure you're searching by the new name, which is also on our website. We have a document of all the new names for the sites. And you want to make sure you're searching under Explore data, not My Sites. So you can see in this little screenshot I have here, it's to the left of My Sites, Explore data, then All Sites. Sites will only show up under My Sites once you personally have entered data to them in the hub. So that first time you're finding them, it is a little harder to get to. So sorry about that. But then once you've entered data, they'll be under My Sites as well. If you've gotten to your site, but it's not allowing you to enter data, you don't have the button that says create a new reading. First thing to do is just make sure you're logged into your account. Sometimes it logs you out. And the way to know you're logged in is here to the right of About in the little screenshot where it has the little like icon of a person. That'll say log in if you're not logged in, and it'll have the icon if you are. And if you are logged in, make sure that you've joined the VASOS organization in the hub. On this link here in the bottom, vasos.org/enter data, or anytime you're on the hub, you'll see this help in the top right. Both of those places have instructions on how to join an organization, but you need to be part of the organization to enter data to the VASOS sites. And if you're having trouble with that, just email me. Speaking of organizations, so there's the VASOS organization, which everybody will want to join. And then we've also created organizations for all the local watershed groups, master naturalist groups, soil and water conservation districts, things like that, that you all are a part of. And those are places where you'll be able to see all of your sites in one place. You can download your organization's data. So some of the sites people have become managers of and added like photos and logos and stuff like you can see Northern Virginia has here. For the ones we created, it's just going to be the name of the organization for now. But if you would like to become a manager of the organization and add all of these pictures and information and stuff, just let me know, just email me and I can make you a manager. And then that also enables you to manage users within the organization, whether you want people to be able to, anybody can join or they have to be approved by you as the manager. And if for whatever reason you're not seeing your organization on the hub, we have a form to request that we create it, which you'll see linked from the organizations page. So again, just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone's patience and troubleshooting this spring. I know it's been a big change, and I've really appreciated everybody's help with finding all the bugs, both in the streams and on the database. All right. Couple more announcements, and then I'll jump into if anybody has any questions or stories or suggestions they'd like to share. So we always need more people to become trainers. You can see on this map here, the areas in gray are areas that don't have any trainers covering those counties. And even some of the blue areas that do have trainers, it might be only one person covering several counties. So even if you live in a blue county, we definitely can still use you. The only requirement to become a trainer is that you've been a certified monitor for at least 6 months. And the process is pretty easy. It's just one virtual training, one in-person training, and then you just retake those same exams you took when you became a monitor, just to make sure you're still up to date on your protocol stuff and macro ID. So please email me if you're interested. We have a virtual session coming up in just a couple of weeks, so we'd love to get you in on that. So please email me if you are interested. Also, if you haven't yet, please join our Facebook group and feel free to post anytime. No need to ask permission to post if you want to share monitoring photos or if you have any events or monitoring or things like that that you're looking for people to help with. Anything like that, you're welcome to share in this group. All right, and wanted to highlight our blog. We've had lots of posts lately around VASOS. So the one about the Lynchburg dam is this META monitor, Sarah Soika and Kara Warren. And then we've also did an article about the pollution spill that happened, or the gas spill, sorry, that happened in Difficult Run up in Northern Virginia. So check out iwla.org/blog to stay up to date on all things VASOS. And last thing I wanted to highlight is that we have a webinar coming up in August, focusing around advocacy at the local level, and it is going to be pretty VA Virginia centered. So we have several speakers from Virginia that are involved in VASOS: Ashley Palmer with Northern Virginia Soil and Water, Amy Euland with Loudon Wildlife Conservancy, and then Patricia Colatasti and Tonia Moxley, which are they're both from down in the Christiansburg area, participating in VASOS. So definitely make sure to register and mark your calendar for that. You can register at iwla.org/events, and I'll put this in our next newsletter, so you'll be notified of it there as well. All right, with that, thanks everybody for listening to all my updates. I want to open up the floor if anybody has anything that they'd like to share. Would love to hear what's going on in your corner of the state. And then again, I'll post recording and slides from this call in the Facebook group and in our next newsletter, so you'll be able to go back and see all the slides and links.
Maggie, I have a question. This is Holly.
Sure.
Hi,
Holly.
At the Muddy Bottom event that we did at the Pocahontas State Park, one of the participants was asking, are the bugs, should we expect the same bugs like the caddisfly in the spring? Should we expect that to see them also in the fall? You know, is there a big change based on the time of year, the season? Or should we expect the same things each time, as long as the water's doing okay?
Yeah, that's a great question, and definitely something I've been asked before and have tried to look into. I haven't found any super definitive answers, but I think for the most part, it's going to be the same season to season, because most of these macros live for multiple years in the aquatic larval stage. But it's definitely interesting to track at your site and see if you do see a difference in different seasons in the numbers or types. If anybody has any more conclusive information about that, please feel free to share. But yeah, I've seen for the most part, it should be pretty similar seasonally. Any other questions anybody has? Anything with the Clean Water Hub or?
I have a question though, in regards of nitrate a watch kit. When does a kit usually arrive?
Sure. So with the nitrate watch kits, we try to get them out within a week or two. If you recently requested one, we have just gotten a huge influx of requests due to some press out in the Midwest, which is wonderful. But it might take us a little bit. Do you know when you've requested your kit?
I think I requested about a week ago.
Okay. It should be arriving soon. If you don't get it in another week, feel free to reach out either to me or to nitratewatch at iwla.org. But yeah, hopefully it should be coming soon.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Did anyone have any interesting monitoring experiences this spring? Love to hear those as well if there are any.
Yeah, we did Muddy Bottom monitoring at Pocahontas State Park, and it was really great to see the caddisflies and their dance. We had so many that was just very hard to count them. And there
Oh,
were,
wow.
yeah, we had more than, I think it was 156 bugs just in the first quarter alone. But it was a great
Wow.
experience. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Were they the common net spinners or the free living caddisflies, or is it a combination of both?
Combination.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
I think there was just maybe one with a case, and that was about it.
Okay, very cool. Thanks, Veronica. Glad you could join us.
Hey Maggie, this is Carol Kaufman. I have a question about the Roanoke River site in um,
Okay,
in Salem where we did our training um,
sure.
and trainer certification. To your knowledge, has anybody requested that as a site?
Um, no, yeah, and I don't think that one was one that had been monitored before. So no, yeah, nobody's monitoring that one at the moment.
Okay. The master naturalist group might end up adopting that. There was somebody in the training that we had recently certified that um, is closer to that location. They're from Roanoke, and I thought that they were going to use it, but I didn't
Okay.
see it. I didn't see it in the Clean Water Hub, so I was just curious whether or not it was in the works or you had any knowledge of anybody claiming that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet, but yeah, that would definitely be a great one. It's already on the permit and stuff since we had the training there, so
Yeah.
it would be pretty smooth for somebody to just pick that one up.
Yeah, I might contact that person that we certified to see if she has an intention of doing that. And if she
Okay.
doesn't, I mean, I want to give her the first chance, since she's from Roanoke and she was really interested in that location. And if she's not going to do that, I think maybe we might take it on.
Okay. Great. Yeah, sounds great. Just let me know if you all have any questions or anything.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anything else anybody wanted to bring up?
Yeah, can I ask just a quick question? What advice do you have for finding good streams? I'm in the Lynchburg area, and it's hard to network with people with farms and whatnot. If you live in the town, like a lot of
Mm,
us in our Nationalist chapter do, we don't have the land to find these streams. We have networked with everybody we know, and we have a few more we can reach out to, but what advice do you have for approaching people, finding road crossings? What's the legality of it? Does it have, how do we go somewhere and not say, "Hey, what are you doing in my river?"
sure. Yeah, that's a great question. I think if anybody has any kind of mapping GIS skills or even just looking on Google Maps, and that's a way we've often found those kind of road crossing spots where it looks like it's easy stream access. I don't know if Lynchburg has a like a GIS map that shows land ownership. I know up here in Northern Virginia we do. I'm not sure if that's the case in other parts of the state, but that can be helpful if they do.
I think we do. I know for the city we do. I'm assuming the counties too, but yeah, I mean, some people really don't want you fiddling around on their property, and other people might be okay with it. You just never know.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe connecting with like a local, if you have like an extension there, because I know they often work with farmers and landowners and things, and
Yeah. Is it
I would
legal to
imagine,
go? So a road crossing that has private property, at what point is
yeah.
it part of the road? How far from the bridge, are we allowed to go without some farmer throwing shade on us?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm not sure if there's an exact distance.
Well, there would be a road right of way of some sort,
Yeah,
I
that's true.
guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Yeah, I don't know if you're able to tell from the map how far the right of way goes. Um,
And different size roads, I imagine, have a different right of way. Is it a two lane with a yellow stripe? Does it have no stripes? Is it is it a gravel road or I don't
right.
know. So
Yeah, this might require a
a
little more
little,
research. I can look and see if I can find any information about the rights of way, if there's any kind of standardization. And I can look and see if I can find a Lynchburg map as well.
because we go into Bedford County, um, Campbell County, Amherst County, and we're reaching out, every time I run into somebody, I'm like, hey, you got riffles? You know. And
Yeah,
I've got a lead on one and maybe something in Bedford County, but we have so many people who want to monitor in our chapter that they all need their own stream. They can't have mine. So if I
you're
find one, it's
right.
mine. They can't have it.
Which group are you with again?
I'm in Lynchburg with the Central Virginia Master Naturalist. We've been
Okay.
doing several. You'll find our sites. We've rotated around a
Mhm.
little bit, but we don't want to keep doing the same stream. If it was healthy, we don't want to keep going to that one property in Concord that we always go to, Beaver Creek. We want to find some new things and something for our other trained people too. So um,
Sure.
it's a lot of networking because so many of us live in town and we don't have a farm.
Got it. Sure, sure. Okay, yeah, I'll see if I can find anything out or see if there's any other monitors in the area that I might be able to connect you with.
Okay, and I might just roam around farmers markets and say, "Hey, y'all farmers, you got a creek?" We
Yeah,
may just have to do some,
that sounds like a great idea. I'd
but they
imagine
might say, "Hey,
farmers at
no, we
farmers
don't
markets
want
might be
you. We don't
amenable.
want you to find out because we have cows peeing in the creek or something." But you can
Yes,
only
yeah.
ask.
But I think definitely an important thing to highlight there would be that we are not a regulatory agency of any kind. We just collect this data, but it's gonna be it would be a long path to go from us collecting the data to uh, any kind of action like remediation being taken for something. So it's definitely not going to be a direct um,
Yeah,
we
and I
report it
think
and all of a sudden, yeah,
I even think DWR and all that, they're not, unless it's something crazy, and we're not testing for crazy stuff like chemicals. It would have to be something illegal. We're not testing for anything. We're just looking at
right,
stuff. I mean, we're not testing for
right,
anything somebody dumped somewhere. We're just looking at, critters. So, um,
exactly. Yeah, our
um,
testing isn't going to tell us what the problem is, just that there's a problem. But then from there, we'd need to do more to figure out what is actually causing a decline in health.
yeah, so we'll if you could get some information about the right
Okay,
of ways and the legality of just, parking on the side of the road and hopping down below a bridge, I would appreciate that. That's hard
sure.
information to look for. Other than that, we're just going to keep networking, I guess, and hunt around.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that would be very good information for me to know as well about the right of way. So, yes, I'll look into that and get back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Maggie, I have another question about sites. I
Okay.
know that this was probably 6 months ago that somebody or some organization in the Giles County area was requesting to have a stream monitored out there, if you remember
Oh
that.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
do you know whether that one has been picked up by anyone?
No, and I know you asked me about this before. Yeah, nobody has ever, other than you known, has ever asked me about that. So nobody's monitoring there. I can see if I can get back in touch with that person who had called me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or you're interested in monitoring that one?
yeah, I'm thinking, we've added some new monitors and just like Nora was talking about, we want to give people an opportunity to do another stream that maybe the rest of us are already doing. So,
Sure.
um, yeah, if you could let me know about that one, I can get to our group and see if there would be people that would be interested in forming a team and doing that stream.
Great. Yeah, thank you. All right. Any last thoughts? Well, if anything else comes up, you know where to find me. Thanks everybody so much for coming out tonight, listening to my spiel, and for all of your great questions. Thank you. Yeah. I will post the recording and slides from this in the Facebook group, and they'll be in our next newsletter, so you'll have access to those. Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody.